What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back. Nope, not a Man United news roundup, quite frankly. Been a pretty slow news day, so I'm not going to waste your time talking about the same shit we talked about the other day. But today we're doing something a little different. We're doing a scouting report special. Now, we do those now and then, but, time to do one more, because why not? You guys know I do like a good scouting report, and today seemed like a good day to hit you with a bunch of them. So you get not a 2 for, not a 3, we get like a 6 for today. So we're going to dive all sorts into that. Please make sure you hit that like button, you guys. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check the memberships as well. We are on the road to 3K. Every little bit gets us there soon. If we do get there before the start of the season, a couple weeks, I will do a giveaway. Brand new 25-26 shirt to the winner of their choosing, home, away, third, name, patch, whatever. So in order to get you guys closer to that, though, share the videos, make sure you subscribe, and if you're new, make sure you're liking, get that algorithm to get its hooks in, and get the video everywhere. But that's what the plan is. So it's up to you guys, though. I've done all I can. So let me start. We'll see who's in the chat to start. Big up, Danny. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. You back at work today, or are you off today? Yes, please do hit that like button for me. So as we dive in today, so we know Man United needs a lot of players right now. Not only do we need to get rid of a few players, we need to strengthen a lot of key areas. One of those key areas is central midfield. So let's break it down. So Bruno, obviously class player, probably our best player in the side, being played out of position in that deep role. Now, he's not bad in that position. It's just not his natural position. And I think we lose a little something. But if he's given a little license to get forward and you've got a good enough partner with him, then it's not that big a deal. And if that wingback knows when to tuck in, which wingbacks are really supposed to do, it's a midfield. It's a 4-man midfield. It's not like a 2-man midfield technically. So, but in any case, a little bit out of position. It is what it is. Casemiro, legs are gone. Let's just be honest, legs are gone. Mainu, little too young probably to start week in, week out. I have no problem with him. He looks good. He needs to get a little older. He's still only been playing first-team football for, a year and a half, with some injuries thrown in there as well. So not the finished article yet. Collier doesn't really look like he's going to be the level we need, probably going on loan. I would still include him in an option for someone like a Hayden Hackney or whatever, but this is not a Hayden Hackney video. We've got a lot of other midfielders to talk about. And then after his second half display yesterday in the Premier League Summer Series final matchup, I worry about Ugarte's future at this club, because he had an absolute horror show of a second half, constantly just losing the ball under pressure, giving the ball away unnecessarily with some very, very sloppy passing, giving away needless fouls to make up for his mistakes. We can hope it's a one-off game, but there were aspects of Ugarte's performance yesterday that we've seen before. There were aspects of him that are worse than we've seen from him. So some of those things I'll chalk up to a one-off game. Not writing him off yet, but I've said many times, he needs to improve his ball progression, he needs to improve his press resistance if he's going to have a starting spot in this system. Because we saw he already was one to kind of moved on under Amorim at Sporting and replaced with Martin Hjulman. So it says a lot, though, what Amorim might think. He's able to bring in someone like Hjulman at Sporting and then turn him from what Ugarte is into a more well-rounded midfielder. Maybe the Ugarte just can't hang. I don't know. But like I said, we need a midfielder. The rumor mill has gone a little quiet in recent weeks. However, regarding United and midfielders, it's just been super quiet. We got some rando reports last week that maybe we could try to hijack this Hackney thing. I think that's just nonsense personally, but though, it won't stop me from throwing my flat cap in the ring and doing a little bit of scouting for them, United. We took a look at young strikers a couple weeks ago. You guys go watch that video if you haven't yet seen it. We took a look at first-team strikers out there that no one really seems to be talking about. Go take a look at that video as well. And so some of you voted. We did a poll the other day on the channel's community tab. Some of you voted to maybe have scouting reports start to kind of have their own dedicated stream like we're doing today. So we're giving it a shot today. We'll see what everyone thinks. Not like you hurt my feelings or anything. No big deal. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to kind of go back to what we did with the strikers and go back to what we've been doing with the hit or misses stuff. Let's focus more. I got a big batch, so maybe instead of spreading those out over the next several weeks, we can do them all at once. I I filtered in all the central midfielders that I've been looking at on my list at Hurry Up. Did a big scouting report on all of them. I've still got other positions that you guys haven't seen yet. So if you guys want these scouting reports to have their own video, you got to wait till I get enough players to do that. So, but in any case, here are 6 young center midfielders who I think everyone will be talking about this year, who I think everyone's going to be talking about next summer, who I think also will be excellent, cheap options for United as we look to rebuild with a young squad moving forward. So let's get started. Let me get caught up in here real quick on the chat here. Danny's just getting home. Well, getting home, man. It's an early day. I like it. But good day of work, bad day of work. How's the air quality out there? Here it's rough because I guess there's some fires going on in Canada, I want to say. So I woke up, I thought it was going to rain. It's really just smoky and hazy skies because a lot of that smoke from that fire is kind of making its way here. So not great air quality. Yeah, I've got thoughts on the friendly. We'll talk about that in the next news roundup. But yeah, the friendly, I was not thrilled with some of the defending. I haven't really been thrilled with some of the defending overall, but we'll do that. Danny says Berge or Amrabat was the better option last summer, only half the price of Ugarte. Yeah, Amrabat definitely kind of came around a little bit last year, towards the latter half of last year. Not last year, the year before, sorry. But I think just a little too late for a lot of United fans, maybe a little too late for United in general. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, who knows what could have been. Berge, not bad option. I don't think for me, doesn't necessarily get us to where I'd like to be in midfield. I'm not saying he's bad. I just think we can do a little better than that. So let's take a look at some players, though, you guys. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check the memberships because starting 11 members, you do get the ability, starting 11 members, to suggest players for the scouting reports. And if I look up these players, they look pretty good, and we do a scouting report on them, I will give you a shout out as well. So that's just one of the perks of being in the membership. Again, memberships have its privileges. Legends members, you can join in on the weekly kickabout with Dylan and I for a hot second and chat about some of the topics we're discussing. You get the emojis, you get all sorts of stuff. So let's get started here. So looking at this first player on my list today, Ivan Ćubelić. I know. Excellent young midfielder, can play pretty much anywhere in midfield. Plays for NK Slaven Belupo in the Croatian league. He's 22 years old, 6 foot, so he's an absolute unit. And as you can see, he's good at playing these long balls, really good at tackling, really good at interception, and he's got an elite level mentality for such a young player. The guy's work rate, his energy, his fight is just off the charts. He's basically, maybe not quite the finished article, but basically he's like a Marcelo Brozovic regen, who, he was gone from Inter before I started doing the channel, but I loved Marcelo Brozovic at Inter Milan. He was exactly the kind of midfielder I thought we needed at the time. But Ćubelić looks very similar. Started out at Hajduk Split, but ultimately found a home at Slaven after a few loans. And really, this guy's got your midfield covered. He's basically just all over the place. Can play either side of that pivot, gets involved in just inside both halves. I like it. He can play as a lone 6 as well if you've got a 4-3-3 or like a 3-5-2. He can definitely fill in that lone spot as well. But he's an absolute defensive midfield powerhouse. Oh, you can see, too, he takes the corners, too, if you look at the top right and bottom right corners of that screen. So he's in charge of those corners. Again, he's got a good passing range on him. He's got a good delivery, and his long balls are excellent. So looking at some of the numbers here for Ćubelić, as you can see, long ball accuracy, those crosses, all well above average. Even then when you get down to the defensive work, the off-the-ball work, again, tackles, duels, aerial duels, interceptions. Interceptions are pretty much perfection. Tackles 1, pretty much perfection. Recoveries, possession 1 in the final third. The guy is absolute monster all over the midfield. He would just do everything you need him to do, which I really like. I appreciate when midfielders do what they need to do, right? I think we can all relate to that. So he's got tackles, interceptions, but he's got that passing range as well. 7th last year for tackles per 90, which I really like. 1st for interceptions per 90 in that league, which I really like. But he's also quite intelligent. He's very decisive on the ball. He's 6th in the league for accurate long balls. His passing is crisp. He can control the tempo of midfield as well. 2-footed, press resistant, composed in midfield. I do like these Croatian midfielders a lot. We've seen guys like Modric. We've seen guys like who's a Kovacic and things, Brozovic, a lot of itches. Very, very good in midfield. He was included in the Guardians Next Generation 2020 a couple years back. So that's the Guardians list of the top 60 young talents in football. So he's in good company. Contracted, and it runs out in what's today, 20 in a year. So he's got entering the final year of his contract. And so there's a really good opportunity here to maybe see how he develops and maybe get something locked in January and get something out of free. I think he ticks a lot of boxes. As you can see, the passing, the tackling, off the ball work, possession one in the final third. Again, that high press, very, very good player. So Ivan Ćubelić, that is him. Let me get you on. Let me see what you guys are saying. Danny says, one I haven't heard of, pal. Sometimes when I've got downtime, like this week with the dog having surgery, I'm pretty much on the couch with her at night, so she can't move around. I'm just looking up players, man. I'm scouring all sorts of websites. I'm scouring everything I can find, all the leagues, looking at the top stats, the top performers, keeping note. Some of them I've got tucked away for future. I want to see how they do. Some of them, as I keep looking, I'm like, all right, this kid's got something. And then we go and do the scout report. Sometimes it's backwards. Sometimes I'll see the player first, and then I'll go up, look at the numbers and look at the history and say, okay, cool. So it just depends on the players. Subo, welcome to the channel. Luca, going to do that. I was watching him a couple of years back when he was still playing at one of the RB teams. And then he went to, did he go to Lyon? Is that where he went to? I can't remember now. He's someplace else now. I want to say he's at like Roma or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do like him a lot. He is a good young midfielder. So a good eye there, man. Good eye. So moving on. Let me know if you guys have heard of any of these players. Let me know what you like, what you don't like as I go through. You guys know I like to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm not just here to do my thing. So, I put a fun little poll in the chat too. If you're kicking around and you want to get involved, is Tom Heaton United's best goalkeeper at the moment? 80% of you say yes. 20% of you say no. Rob, big up, Rob. Evening, gents. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Yes, please do. Let me move on to my next midfielder. Looking at Kamiel van der Perre. I know. Union Saint-Gilloise plays obviously in the Belgian league. Plays in that number 6 role. 21, 5'11", excellent work rate, good positioning, like just knows where to be, kind of like what we've seen from Collier at times, just kind of knows where to be in any given situation. He's got excellent mentality, good in the tackle, good in interception. Usually when you've got good positioning, when you've got good reading of the game, that's where you're going to see those interceptions as well. Came through Genk's youth team, joined Union last summer and won the league with them, made 29 appearances in the process. He's comfortable both as box-to-box or as a 6 as well. So he can play kind of all over the place. He's gotten touches all over the place. 2-footed, hardworking, really good positional intelligence, physical, really good at initiating a transition after winning the ball by himself. Not always has to just find someone to do it. And he's got a really good duel rate as well. If you look at his individual match performances throughout some of his matches, you'll see consistently solid pass accuracy, long ball, passes into the final third, chance creation, tackles, interceptions, dual success rate, consistently high for these numbers. These are some of his percentiles and some of the key areas we're looking at. So a good, like above average aerials, really good blocks, literally top 1% for blocks, top 1% for tackles per 90. Look at these take-ons, these carries, these progressive passes. I'd like to see his passing, just his accuracy get a little better, but you can work on that. What I really like is the take-ons, the carries, and is the backing of himself in these 1v1s. I think that's excellent for such a young player. His ability to drive the ball up the pitch is excellent. Again, passing improves. I think it'll elevate him to another level. Very similar to like Kobbie Mainoo in the way that you see him do that. I don't think he's going to suit any sort of counterattacking system where you're just looking to hoof those long balls, for instance. But I think that in a more pragmatic, measured buildup, I think he can do a really good job. Captain Genk's under-19s occasionally. He has been praised for his leadership qualities too, Van der Perre, but he's got the potential, I think, to be such a strong, well-rounded leader on and off the pitch. And I think you might be seeing his name a lot pop up the next player. Really good player. So that's Kamiel van der Perre. You guys, let me know what you think. Do you think he ticks some boxes? Again, you can kind of see the pattern I'm looking at. I'm looking for the ball progression. I'm looking for the off-the-ball defensive work, because that's really what you need to see from these midfielders right now. Someone who can win the ball, someone who's good on the ball in very delicate area of the pitch in our own defensive third or in our own half. against these high pressing physical midfields now. And someone who can just beat the 1v1, press resistant, create space, and get the ball up the pitch. That's what I'm looking at right now. You need to do a little bit of everything. So I think some of these young guys can do it. So that's Kamiel van der Perre. Let's move on to my next target. Ibrahima Bangoura, another player who's in the Belgian league. You guys can tell I watch a lot of Belgian football. Plays for Genk. Again, 21, 6'3", so a bit more of a unit than some of the other guys. Good tackling, excellent work rate, good interceptions, very good on the ball as well. He's very composed. He's very good with the ball at his feet. This kid is Genk through and through. Youth team to first team. His pace and his power really help him in the recoveries. He kind of basically patrols that middle of the pitch. You can see he's kind of just getting all over the place, cleaning up everything, doing what he needs to do, win the ball back, finding teammates, carrying the ball. His tackles and his interceptions are elite level. If we look at some of these, top 2% for tackles and interceptions, top 14% from block, and then really in the 60th percentile for aerial duels as well. Now, I like to see his passing improve. He completes a lot of his passes, but he is going to be the guy, kind of like the old school Wilfred Ndidi, winning the ball, finding the teammate, win the ball, find the teammate. But you can see he's actually very good at creating the space for himself. His successful take-ons are in the top 13%. Like to see him improve in that aspect of the game, but he's still so young and he's so physical. I think he can, if he just does that a little bit more, I think he can do it. What I really like is his recovery pace and his tackling. He doesn't leave you exposed if you're playing a little high line. If you lose the ball high up the pitch and you're kind of facing a counterattack, he is very good at that recovery as well. His 1v1s, even 1v2s. He reminds me a little bit of Pogba, the way he can kind of use his feet, use his strength, use his body to resist the press, create space, drive the ball. I've seen him literally beat two opponents who are right up on him just by a little bit of drop of shoulder, a little bit of good footwork, a little bit of just keeping your body between them and the ball. He's not going to be a chance creator. He's not going to be one of these incisive passers, but he's definitely solid defensively. He can carry the ball into the opposition half. I think that's what I want to see. It's basically a more physically imposing, defensive-minded Kobbie Mainoo, basically in that regard. He's ideal, I think, for a pressing system that when you're trying to win the ball back in the opposition half or in midfield and initiate those quick transitions just to kind of catch the opponents out a little bit, take advantage of a poor rest defense. Newcastle were linked, so it's no surprise there. It's kind of the midfielder that they look at. A lot of French clubs are interested. Lyon, Strasbourg, Nice have all been interested. Reportedly, Genk are holding out for about 15 million euros, though, for Bangoura. So we'll see. Danny says, I've got Bangoura written down in the notebook, but never followed up on watching him. Now's your chance. Belgian League has already kicked off. It's already started, man. Rob says, not sure what my EAFC scouts are doing. Haven't heard of any of these. Can see some firings coming on. Yeah, you need to go replace some of those guys, man. Subo says, why don't I apply for scouting management for United? Do you guys know that you can go get a bachelor's in talent identification? I've just got like level 1 and 2 certifications from the PFSA and the FA. Like I can't think of going and spending a lot of money. I can't go and get another bachelor's. Talent identification bachelor's would be cool. I would love to go be a scout, but I think nowadays it's kind of moving into more of the data analyst aspect, looking more at the numbers. It's no longer the flat caps and a travel mug and a notebook on a cold Sunday morning out in foggy glens and meadows of England someplace. But thank you. I do appreciate that. I'm a bit of a scouting nerd. I just do like it. We're also going through right now my old scouting reports that I wrote a long time ago before I even had the channel. Before I was writing for Stretty News, I had my own blog and it was all scouting reports. Literally 2 years ago, we've been going through some of those to see which ones were hits and which ones were misses. But I appreciate that, Subo. Big up. Subo says we need a cheaper alternative to Ederson. It's gone really quiet in midfield. That's why I'm doing this today. There's just been no links. Slash, welcome back, dude. Sorry I'm late. Been looking forward to these scout reports. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that you guys enjoy them as much as I do because they are fun to look at. I mean, we've done how many on the channel since we've gotten started? I mean, we'll do plenty more. As you know, that's the cool thing about doing scouting is that there's always young players coming through. And so we're going to look at them today. A lot of Belgian League today. I do have one from South American League, and I do got one from the Eredivisie today as well. So we'll be doing all sorts of that. But welcome back, Slash. Good to see you again, my friend. So Ibrahima Bangoura, again, a little bit like that old Wilfred Ndidi from when Leicester were kind of bursting on the scene a couple years back. Before they went back to the championship and he became more of a box-to-box, Wilfred Ndidi was like that big physical guy, patrolling, winning the ball back, and then finding a teammate. That's basically what you get with Bangoura, but cheaper. Moving on to a player at Ajax who I really, really like, Jorthy Mokio. Again, a little bit versatile. He split last season between young Ajax and the first team at Ajax as well. But you can see he's only 17 years old, but he's already pretty physical unit. He's already 6 foot. He's versatile. He can play as a left back. He can play as a center back. He can play as a number 6. He can play as an 8. Very good dribbling, very press resistant. He's got excellent movement positioning, very composed on the ball, and good at progressing that ball. But he's already burst onto the scene in such. He scored. He was 16 this past year when he scored on his in the Europa League. He came on and scored, and he was man of the match, and that was a win over Union Saint-Gilloise in the Europa League this year. So he's already breaking records and whatnot. So his favored position is going to be that box-to-box, but he's kind of playing up. Again, he's very versatile. You can see he gets some touches on that wide position. He gets a lot of touches in midfield as well. But again, favored position, and what a lot of Ajax and Eredivisie fans say is his being a number 8, being a center midfielder is going to be where you're going to want him. A lot of them even say 6 is probably better. Someone who's in a pivot with a 6, but with license to get forward. This takes full advantage of his dribbling, but don't sleep on his passing range as well. So again, very good young player. The carries, the take-ons, the tackles, even the blocks, the clearances, he's got a lot of it. I like what I see a lot of this kid. He's got elite level positioning and footballing IQ for a 17-year-old. Just if you watch him play, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, his numbers are a little skewed because of the fact that he's played basically half the season for the Ajax Resis and then played the other half for the first team. So you're not getting the full sample size, but we do put it out there so everyone can see. Excellent at reading the game, anticipation, knows when to step up to challenge when you're kind of on the back foot, which is a really underappreciated skill. Just kind of that timing, knowing when to jump on that kind of stuff is really, it's almost like too good at this age to be able to do that. Elite in these 1v1s. He's got a good eye for a pass. Really good at kind of making these late runs to the edge of the box to get a shot in and score. I've seen him score a couple like that. And he's mature too. He's got a really good head on his shoulders, his decision making. He's turned down moves to clubs like Barcelona, Bayern, RB Leipzig to prioritize his development at Ajax because he sees that right now as the best place to develop. Now, again, because he was originally a left-sided center back, I think he's going to be suited if he's in a back 3 system, similar to like Hato, Gavardio. He can fill in there if he needs to. It's not his best position, but he can do it. I think, though, in the back 3, where that wider center back is given a little bit more license to get forward, I think if you had to play him at center back, that's where you're going to want to do it. I think he's going to do well, though, in a system that builds out from the back. I think he's excellent at dropping deep, picking up the ball, starting that phase of attack where he can beat someone 1v1. He can resist the pressure, beat the press, and create space for himself. I think that he's going to be also utilized best in a system that looks to have very physical ball-playing midfielders, wink, wink, if we know any teams that play that. So Danny says he's one for the future. Yeah, not all these players are players that I think are going to be like right into the first team, except maybe the last guy we're talking about. But this guy is definitely one of those, like a Malambo kind of thing you get, or a Lennon Miller. Maybe you get him, you rotate him in, and then you kind of see where he's at in a couple of years and get him some minutes. So Rob says, cool name, Jorthy Mokio. Yeah, there's some fun ones on here today, but that one's definitely. So Ajax always seem to be like churning out the talent. It's gone a little quiet in the last couple of years, aside from like your Hato. But I think Ajax in general have been a little bit of a mess since Ten Hag left. So conveniently, it took Ten Hag leaving for Feyenoord and Arne Slot to finally win that league. But hey, no big deal. Not gonna do that. So moving on to my second to last player here. Danny, you let me know if you know much about this. We're looking at Tomas O'Connor. Now, Argentinian, but can also represent Ireland as well. He's one of those like Alexis McAllister. I'm Argentinian, but I've got like the Scottish last name. This guy's got that Irish last name. Plays for Rosario Central. Again, he's 21. Not the tallest. He's 5'8", which oddly enough is the same height as Alexis McAllister. So again, height isn't everything if you've got the physicality and the movement and you read the game well, in my opinion. And like sometimes being shorter is a bit of a help when it comes to challenges because you've got a lower center of gravity. But the kid's excellent at dribbling, good work rate, good vision, good anticipation. He's press resistant and he's versatile. He can play a variety of positions in midfield. He joined Rosario's youth setup from his hometown academy team, came on as a sub in May 2023 and scored in his first team debut for Rosario. So he kind of came on with a bit of a spark. Box-to-box midfielder, kind of like most of what we looked at. But he does add a bit more creativity to the team than who we looked at. Some of these other guys have been very defensive-minded. This guy is kind of an all-arounder. He can, and this is how he's able to play multiple roles in midfield. He's an excellent playmaker, solid when it comes to dictating play. The guy wants the ball, and he's going to go all over the place to try to figure that out. Kind of reminds me of almost like a mixture of João Neves and like Job Bellingham a little, maybe even a little bit of Jude, just the way that he just plays. Very good link-up play, excellent at driving the ball forward from deeper positions. Let's look at his map here. Hold on a sec, y'all. Let me bring this up. So these are the last 2 seasons that I was looking at because of just wanted to get more of a well-rounded idea of where he can play. Because the way that of the Argentina league works, and it's kind of split up into different things. It's really weird, but a couple of his heat maps, you can see he's getting a lot of touches inside both halves of the pitch as well. But you look at his numbers here. A lot of very good numbers, very promising numbers for a 21-year-old. Those tackles, again, you're thinking 5'8", what's he going to do? Well, he's in the top 8% for tackles per 90, so he's doing quite a bit. And when you've got the take-ons, the carries, the ball progression that he's got as well, then you start to say, okay, all right, I see you. I was not familiar with your game, Tomas. But he's got good movement. Again, he's good at finding and exploiting space in between the lines. He's really good at his first touch is on point, man. He could, when you think that the ball's not going to come, when you think there's no way he's going to get out of a situation, it's just a simple first touch. It's just a simple pause or a drop of the shoulder, and he's gone. He just is. He's good at finding passing lanes that most players don't even see, let alone attempt. He puts in a shift off the ball, as you can see. He knows when to anticipate and step in to make a challenge. He knows when to sit back. Again, it's very similar to Alexis McAllister. Now, he signed a new contract a little more than a year ago. He's got a $15 million release clause, but it's up in December of 2026. And so a little bit more than a year and a half, and we'll see what happens. But I think that what I like to see is us looking at players like this. Danny knows him. Danny would prefer Milton Delgado. Yeah, I think we did a scouting report on Delgado a while back as well. Someone that you recommended. Subo says, don't you think we should bring back Oyedele? Well, you just perked up Danny's ears. The question is, should we have let him go in the first place? Maybe not. But there's a reason that the loan system exists as well. Not every youngster that comes through the academy is going to make it at United. It doesn't mean they're bad, but there's levels to this. B, the loan system is there. So some of these players who maybe there's no way they're maybe going to break into the first team to go out and get first team experience when they're a little too good for the academy level, not quite ready for the first team. Preferably, I'd like these youngsters to go to like championship or like League One sides so they can get a little bit of experience playing against grown men in England, some of whom have played in the Premier League before. I think that could be good for them. But I think that Oyedele is probably one of the better youngsters that we've kind of seen go out on loan, similar to like Vitek and whatnot. But there's always a chance. You never know. I knew Danny was going to pop up. So I always said Oyedele was better than Collier. And you remember Collier, it's not like Collier was a youngster that we brought through the academy. We got him from like Brighton, and he's older than people think. He's like 21, 22 now, Collier. So I'm running out of I'm not saying I'm running out of patience because he's not like he's doing a bad job, but he's got a handful of appearances in the first team. Collier, he's injured a lot. I don't really see him getting in ahead of Mainu, Casemiro, Ugarte, or anything. So I like the way he plays, Collier. He's all action. He knows his positioning is very good, but I just don't know what to do with him. And like I said, I would definitely maybe offer him in cash for Hayden Hackney, but that's just me. But yeah, and I do agree. There are some academy players that we probably should not have ever let go, but alas and alack. Kempwala I really liked. Don't know why we let go of him as well. I hope we just don't lose some players, unfortunately. Super says Ten Hag did this early. I'm going to get some water, guys. All right. We're coming up on the final player here, and This one's probably my pick of the litter. That's why I left him for last. But let me get through some of these. I'm going to take this off the screen while I talk to y'all for a second and put this other guy up here. This other guy is boss level. Danny says he's got more first-team experience than Delgado does, but Delgado has more youth experience with Argentina, I think. Yeah. Tomas O'Connor, very good young player. Alvaro, that's the other one, yeah. Now, a little fair to Ten Hag. Remember, he was told by the medical staff that Malacia, Shaw would be ready, and so we were a little more. You can only go by what the medical staff says, and the medical staff we know are shit. So it just is what it is. But I've said many times I would have also liked to have seen Ten Hag maybe take a bit of a risk, back some of the youngsters a little more, and say, you know what, I can't wait for this. I can't wait to see if Shaw is going to stay fit. I can't wait to see if Malacia is going to stay fit. And let's just go with Alvaro, and we'll see what happens in January. That's what I would have liked to have seen happen. Didn't happen like that, though. Another one, unfortunately. I saw that too, Danny. A lot of young players. Yeah, I looked this guy too up. I wrote him down last time. These are players that are probably not a whole lot of numbers yet to go on, but we'll keep an eye on them for a little bit longer and see, especially if they've just broke into the first team, the numbers are not going to quite be there yet. But again, we keep them in the back of our mind and we look at them. So moving on to my last one, make sure you're hitting that like button if you haven't yet done so. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Again, memberships as well. Starting 11 members get the option to contribute to the scouting reports and suggest players. And if I do choose your player, I will give you a shout out. So moving on to my pick of today's litter, Mamadou Sangare. Now, not to be confused with the other Sangare that I was a big fan of a couple of years ago. You guys remember as we went through my hit or miss, Ibrahima Bangoura was an absolute boss at PSV Eindhoven. This guy plays for Rapid Vienna. Again, he's the oldest one on the list at 23, 5'10", but this guy, watch him play. He's an absolute beast mode. I put on my Christopher Favel hat for this one when I took a closer look at this Malian. He's Malian. So again, we've been linked to a lot of Malian players. Good playmaker, good ball progressor, good tackles, interceptions, excellent work rate. Another RB Salzburg pickup. Sangare spent a few years on loan before finally making a permanent move to Rapid last summer, signing a contract until 2028. So not a super long contract, but it is what it is. Box to box, but he's also got a little bit more of that added playmaking flair, which I really, really like. 3 goals, 3 assists last year in all competitions, 5-time man of the match, 3 times team of the week. Started this season. So again, this season has already started with a man of the match performance against BW Linz this weekend in the Austrian League. So very good player already. He excels in these vertical transitions. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about when I said this guy's my pick. Look at that heat map. Absolutely just red, man. Just ridiculous. Red all over, dude. He excels in these vertical transitions, which is exactly the kind of system we look to play. Excels at carrying the ball in the midfield, threading these progressive passes, and stepping into the half spaces to make things happen. He's got excellent pressing energy. He's regularly contributing to midfield and recovery and passing, and he's good at the transition systems where in systems that really defend defensive and offensive output from your midfielders. He's got stamina for days. He maintains a high tempo, a high level of physicality and energy throughout the 90 minutes. He's very good in a high pressing. Like I've seen him compared to like Basuma or like when Ndidi was playing like a box to box a little bit, kind of that mentality. But he's excellent. We're going to look at his percentiles here too. So again, top 1% interceptions, top 2% for tackles, top 8% for aerial duels. He's an absolute physical monster. And if you look at the ball progression, the take-ons, the carries, the progressive passes, like very, very good. He can improve a little bit with his progressive passing numbers because they are just slightly below average. But 82% pass accuracy when you're making a lot of those is not the worst. Plus, if you look at the carries and the take-ons, I mean, top 5% for take-ons is like, that's impressive. I really like this kid a lot, personally. Let me see. Danny's not familiar with it, dude. Something probably not. I mean, how many people watch Rapid Vienna? Raise your hand. I mean, let's be honest. That's not a dig. I'm just saying that's just the way it is. Danny says Vavel knows him. I bet. Yeah. We'll see. But Danny's looking at the heat map. Should I bring the heat map up again? Let's bring the heat map up again. But the dude just is everywhere, dude. So he's a very good midfielder. He's 13th in the league last year for pass accuracy, 5th for accurate long balls, 5th for successful dribbles, 2nd for tackles per 90, 6th for interceptions per 90. So not only the numbers look at, but then when you look at the ranking he is in the league, like he's literally in the top 10 for all the metrics that we're looking for in a midfielder. I think a little bit more experience in the European competition will do him well, personally. But again, he's got some time. He's still just 23, about the same age that Ugarte was when we picked him up. Feyenoord probably look like they're really trying to push for this one as, one of those finally let's replace Mats Wiever kind of players. They had a 8 million euro bid rejected. Rapid Vienna are holding out for like 10 million euros. 10 million euros could get this done. And this guy is basically going to be your midfielder. I think he's better than Ugarte with the ball progression and the press resistance personally. You've seen the physical numbers as well. He's younger than Ugarte is now, and he's going to be a 5th of what Ugarte costs. Danny says, I think I found something interesting. Well, I might have. Danny says that's a Rodri heat map. Interesting. Let me go see if I can find Rodri's heat map. Hold on. And we'll bring it up and we'll look at it real quick. Hold up. Rodri's 29 already? Jeez. That's insane. I thought he was a lot younger than that. So let's look at Premier League. We'll look at 23-24 because last season, holy crap. It really was. Here, I'll bring this up so you guys can see. So that's Rodri's heat map from the 23-24 season, so before he picked up his injury. Basically the same thing as the kid we just looked at. That's insane. Yeah, this kid, Mamadou Sangare, you guys, this kid's it, dude. This is, like I said, he's my favorite one on the list today. He's the oldest one on the list, so he's got a little bit more experience. Now, he doesn't have experience at the elite level, I think. Danny says if Vavell knows him, I think would be in the mix. We'll see. Again, Malian, we are linked with a lot of Malian. A lot of Malians come through the RB system, so there could be that connection there as well. But this kid's really, really good. I'm going to put this like this here to do some of that action. We'll see, though. He could be going to Feyenoord, and if he goes to Feyenoord, you're going to pay like 50 million for him probably in a couple of years. So this is the kind of players, though, that I like to see us maybe go for, especially some of the young ones like Mokio, because I think you can get those guys for a snip now at teenagers. You can develop them a little bit, and then, we'll see what happens. But this guy, I think, for 10 million euros, what is that in pounds? Someone tell me if they know. 10 million euro in pounds is just 8.7 million pounds. If you get 8.7 million pounds to get the player with those numbers and that midfield heat map, gets the job done, man. It just does. Malambo replacement. Yeah, this guy's 23, so he's basically going to be starting week in, week out. I think he would start week in, week out for us. I think he's better than Ugarte. I think he replaces Casemiro a little bit. Now, he doesn't replace Casemiro's experience, maybe not his skill on the ball. Casemiro's still very good on the ball, but in terms of movement and in terms of ball progression, he's better than both Casemiro and Ugarte. He's older than Manu, so someone from Manu to maybe rotate with. It's definitely better than Collier. You sign this guy based on the numbers and the heat map and his profile alone. He's literally partnering Bruno day one. Like, it just is what it is, man. Subo says blood is everywhere. The dude, literally, like, him, and it does look like there's blood everywhere on the pitch. But, again, the numbers are on point. I like this kid a lot. Like I said, my pick of the day. But you guys let me know out of the 6 that we looked at, maybe who would be the one that you'd think we should be going for, who you think want to make a difference. Are there any that you'd like to see rotated in the first team picture? Any that you think would start right away? Out of all of them, Sangare is probably the one that gets the start, but it is what it is. Danny says Manu Sangare. Yeah. A future midfield of Manu and Sangare would be very, very good. I think Manu's got those dribbling. Sangare's definitely got that physicality as well. I like what I see here, but we'll see what it is. But that was 6 young center midfielders that I think everyone should be looking at. I think everyone will be talking about this season, especially next summer. If you guys weren't able to catch the live, let me know in the comments what you thought. ITN, welcome back, my friend. Good to see you again. Danny says, you have to mention this kid to Jarvis. I will. I was supposed to jump on this thing last night. I meant to message him back, but I think Jarvis forgot that the friendly was last night, and that was when the when the kickoff for that was going, that's when he was trying to do a stream. So we ended up pushing that back. So we'll see what happens when he reschedules. But Jarvis he runs Tactical Devils. For those of you guys who don't know, go check out his channel sometime. He's really good guy, really top bloke. Been fortunate to join him on his channel in the past. So good channel, go check it out. But let me know and leave your thoughts in the comments. Who you like, who you didn't like, who you like to see more of. Go check them out. Again, watch the Belgian league a bit more. There's a lot of really good players. If you can, watch a couple different leagues. You guys will see a lot of really good young players. We've spoken about a lot of them on this channel. ITN, I appreciate that, man. Great scouting. Well done for the info. I try, man. Like I said, this is the kind of stuff I was doing for fun. That's how dorky I am when it comes to this. I was literally doing this for nobody other than myself 2 years ago. So Danny said he's on tonight probably. Is he? I'll have to get in touch with him and see what's going on. But I got to go make some food here shortly. Subo says, thanks for the reports. Thank you guys for jumping in and getting involved and letting me hear your thoughts on that. So until next time, you guys, again, slow news day, so no news roundup. But on the next news roundup, we'll talk about this Premier League Summer Series, especially that final match, because I do have thoughts on some players, Ugarte and Dallo and Shaw. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then obviously we've got the kickabout on Wednesday with Dylan. So be sure to come back where he and I will kind of recap the week. We're going to be talking a little bit about manager tenures on Wednesday on the back of some of comments that Ruben Amorim made following the summer series. Now I know Ruben's comments about being here for 20 years were made a little in jest. They weren't like super serious, but it did get me thinking. So be prepared to share your thoughts on manager tenures and careers at at a given club when we get in there, because I want to hear everyone's thought that. But big up. Danny says rewind Debasi to the Sangare section. Debasi, welcome to the channel. You guys, you want to see his heat map and his numbers again one more time before we take off, guys? Is that what you want? I can do that for you if you guys want. Here, I'll put him on here for you, Debasi. Hold on a second. Let me get this. Oh, who this last guy on the list was today that we were talking about. Hold up. There you go. Here you go, Debasi. So this is my pick of today's litter. So you can see excellent numbers there for the percentiles, everything you want. And this is where you're really going to freak out. I hope you're sitting down. Buckow. Guy's an absolute monster in midfield. So thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you guys for checking out the scouting reports. Let me know if you like this format or if you have no problem doing a couple here and there in the news roundups and mixing it up. I have no problem doing it either. Again, like I said, it's your channel. That's why I put out the poll. So you guys let me know if you prefer this format or if you have no problem just doing it the way it was. But until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your night. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.